Welcome to the Political Matrix News. Politics, people, local, regional, national news. Political Matrix News keeps you informed. We have the sources, we have the truth from inside the Political Matrix.
Hello, welcome back. This is Greg Fink here with the Political Matrix News broadcast, and I have along with me Jonathan Cole. So, what do you think about Marjorie Taylor Greene's ability to be a whip, or to play with whips, or to whip votes, or to do anything with the whips in the Congress? She was trying to vacate the chair, and that seems to have failed again, like most of her policy ideas. Again, keep failing. And so, I mean, I do see a lack of energy on her side to get rid of Michael Johnson. What do you think?
Well, let's define her side. It's strictly the Freedom Caucus. We're talking maybe a dozen people. So
You think the entire Freedom Caucus is behind her? I don't think she's part of the Freedom Caucus anymore.
That's the people that voted with her, but notorious, conspicuously absent was Matt Gaetz, who did not. So, which is kind of funny. He did it. He's kind of like that kid in school that gets away with something and you try it and you get caught.
Yeah. Well, Matt does whatever Don tells him to do. And Donald J. Trump told him probably to back off because DJT is behind Michael Johnson.
So yeah, she originally said, and that's the funny part is Trump has been telling her, don't do this.
Right.
Yesterday, she said, okay, I'm not going to do it. And today she went ahead and did it. And so as she was reading the motion, she was roundly booed, both sides of the aisle. And so there's a video of her, and she's saying, for all the listeners out there, this is the Uniparty. So now she's pitching this narrative that every Republican now in Congress, except for those 43 are rhinos. Actually, there was a few Democrats that voted to oust him, but Hakeem Jeffries kept the party pretty much solidly behind Johnson. You know, we're not going to let this happen.
Right.
And actually, she's not popular in the House, and she's not popular now with the mainstream of the GOP party.
No.
But it angers her that there's this new kind of, I don't know if you want to call it a coalition, but willingness between the two House leaders to work together to get things done.
Oh, yeah, obviously, because there's people out there called taxpayers.
Yeah. So the Ukraine bill got passed. Some other bills got passed, and that's what she got mad about. But then, like I said, Jeffries runs a tight ship with the Democratic Party. And he said, if she does it, we're going to vote against it. And he did. So, so obviously Mike Johnson's still the speaker.
Yes. I mean, I think her whole idea of managing anything is just failing upwards pretty quickly.
Yeah. And I wonder how this is playing in her district.
I don't know. We should probably run a poll on that, and we'll probably get you guys some results here next week. We're going to start, just to let everybody know, we have our own polling firm, and we're probably one of the top 5 or 10 in the country as far as accuracy goes. I call the Political Matrix and the listener group. And so we're going to start doing some random surveys here next week around the country, and I think we'll poll our district about this issue. We'll probably come back next week with some answers.
It'll be interesting, like I said, because if we find out that she's overwhelmingly still popular in spite of all this, then
I love her district.
There's a bigger issue at work with our electoral system.
It just means that anybody can vote. You know, and she does live in Georgia. I mean, all you Democrats seem to love the Georgia electoral system because y'all all hate Trump anyway. And so, you got to defend the Georgian way of voting.
Yeah, but that's
you guys vote double. I mean, they can vote double in Fulton County.
Yeah,
and get away with it. And I mean, they can go ahead and vote, at nighttime and put suitcases and everything and things, and get upset because Trump wants to find those votes that somebody else hid from him. And granted, he probably he probably should have had a better way of saying it, but I'm sure he was extremely tired and exhausted when he was talking about it. But Trump is
Well,
not really the person who really thinks before he talks
but
at all.
like I said, that leads to former Lieutenant Governor Jeffrey Duncan endorsing Biden today.
Yes, so the former Lieutenant Governor of Georgia endorsing Biden. Surprise, surprise.
Well, I mean,
I'm sure he was probably part of the guys that got in a sparring match with the Trump. And
I think he was in the apparatus on
yeah,
Raffensperger. But he said, "I'm a lifelong Republican. I don't
yeah,
agree with Biden's policies, but I can't
I
vote
hate
for
Trump.
someone. I can't vote for someone lacking a moral compass." So,
Okay, well, this whole moral compass thing, let's just go ahead and get this whole media, this whole moral compass and this whole thing about, the Pecker guy from National Enquirer affecting the election. I mean, as if there's not a Pecker in every single media outlet. There is. I mean, MSNBC has lots of Peckers and everything else for influencing elections on the left side and on the right side. I mean, it's not just a National Enquirer out there. You
well,
got
no,
CNN,
but
you got NPR. I mean, you have media outlets all over the place that are not balanced at all. They're extremely biased one way or the other,
well, they're all
and
biased one way or the other.
exactly. And
Exactly.
they're all influencing elections. They're all influencing turnout,
But
whether
they're also not
negatively or
witnesses
positively
in a
content.
trial. So that's
Yeah,
the
well,
issue.
maybe they should be on trial. I mean, maybe the free press should be the free press, not the paid for press paid for and delivered by this candidate or that candidate. Because I mean, it's more or less a lot of media out there can more or less put a paid disclaimer on their newscasts and be a part of the apparatus of whatever political group they're talking about. Because
Well, I mean, when we've
that's
always
how
had
over
that,
the edge they are.
it's like back in the 2015 when Fox News was getting sued.
2024.
No, Fox News was getting sued for not printing factual or putting out factual data.
That's just because somebody actually sued them. I mean, it's not
But
like anybody
but
else
it
has
was
been
their
sued.
response that
CNN
was
has been
telling.
sued. But the response is horrible. Granted,
No,
okay,
the
they're not good at
response
PR.
was, "We're not a news agency. We're an entertainment agency."
Entertainment firm, as Fox
Yes,
is. That's correct. An
yes.
entertainment agency. And that
Uh,
being said, they are also influencing elections. So is CNN,
no,
CNN Entertainment,
exactly.
CNN Time Warner. I
So what
mean,
happened to our country
MSNBC,
since
GE.
David Brinkley and Walter Cronkite when you could trust the news?
Well, you gotta trust it because that's the news there was. I mean,
Well,
there
they
was
were
no
pretty
there
much.
was no social media back then. There was no Twitter.
Well, they
There
weren't
was no
editorializing
any.
the news. They were just
Well, they
reporting.
weren't, were they or weren't they? Back then, were they editorializing it because there weren't editorials out there to compare and contrast them with, or was that really the news? I mean, if they were the only news talking, then it sounds like the news.
Well,
Now,
no,
if you
you
would
can
have had a whole bunch
still.
of other, if you had social media at the time, they might have been looked at as editorializing because you had a whole bunch of other thoughts and ideas out there on the World Wide Web, which did not exist at that time.
Well, it was existent. It just lived in a different
Right,
realm.
and journals and paper
You
journals
had
and
like people
yeah,
with
exactly.
mimeograph newsletters or General Edwin Walker giving
Yeah,
speeches in Dallas.
booklets and leaflets
The
and
tinfoil hat crowd. But
yeah.
it was an earth shaking moment
Oh,
when
that.
it was an earth shaking moment. Walter Cronkite went to Vietnam, came back,
Right,
and they clicked editorial at the bottom, and he says, "We cannot win this war." And like Lyndon Johnson at that moment knew he was not going to be president again next year.
right, exactly.
You
And he
know,
did not
but
run again.
but he produced a truth that hadn't been brought out by the media up to that point because they pretty much back then were spoon fed by the Department of Defense. They were given casualty
Right,
statistics,
as they are
everything,
now.
and he
Right
well
now,
depends on
the media
who
is being
gets it.
fed by Biden's PR person,
Yeah,
that crazy woman who's up there at the
but you think
panel
about
every
it,
day. Now, granted, she's working her butt off, but she's lying very well for Biden.
that
She's
it's
making him look like a smart guy
yeah.
who's like actually, understanding of his faculties. And he's not. But they're covering for him pretty good.
Yeah, no, but Everyone has that now. That's the truth. That
Yeah.
it's both sides. It's just
At the end of the day, Marjorie Taylor Green cannot whip any votes together,
she
and
doesn't.
we're seeing how upset she is at Keem Jeffries and Michael Johnson, two different guys from two different parties from two totally different parts of the world. One's from New York City, one's from Bossier City, Louisiana. And what they're doing is they're trying to make sure that the American taxpayers looked out after first,
Well,
and they're working for them, which is not a bad deal. It's a good
think
deal.
about it this way: you aspire to be Matt Gaetz and you fail.
The aspirations.
I know, really. Like, he can do it, I can do it, and it didn't work.
Let me just think about that really quick. Anybody, any of you guys, I do know people on the Republican MAGA side that are aspiring to be like Matt Gaetz. If you do that, realize you need to get a very, very rich daddy who has a lot of legal fund money with him, enough to actually spend over probably half their net worth in legal fees to keep you out of trouble. Then, and only then, can you be near the moral equivalency of Matt Gaetz.
This is true.
But that's just in our opinion. This is also entertainment as well. This is not extremely news service, but it is pretty close to news service because we have a little bit more information on Matt Gaetz than most people could collect in years because we personally know them, the family. So we say this with full disclosure that it's going to be a very interesting campaign this year for him as he's running for re-election against a very well-funded Republican opponent who's yet to show us his name to really anybody out there, and a very worthy Democrat opponent if he were to make it past the primary.
And he's also publicly made clear his aspirations for the future.
Yeah, he wants to be governor, or he doesn't. We just don't know yet which side of Matt Gaetz to believe. Publicly, it's no. Privately, it's yes. Privately, it's no, and publicly, it's yes.
Well, he's got to wait 4 years for Senate before Rubio's out, so he's not going to sit around for 4 years.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I mean, Rubio is going to be, I think, probably the next governor, in my opinion. Or Wilson Simpson.
Nah, he doesn't have enough name recognition.
Everybody's telling me today that they think he's going to be the hands-on favorite. I'm like, nobody really knows who he is.
No,
I think Rubio would actually probably be a pretty good governor.
What happened to
he was Speaker of the House whenever he ran the House, and he was Speaker of the House back in before he became a senator.
We would definitely lock up the Hispanic vote, but
Yeah.
what happened with Ashley Moody? I thought she was running.
Ashley who?
Ashley Moody.
Who?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
Ashley
she
Moody.
was DeSantis' handpicked.
DeSantis handpicked. Yeah. To see how DeSantis handpicked anything is working out statewide. DeSantis got, a really good election against Charlie Crist, which I'm starting to think was probably fixed. But but since then, he has not done all that well statewide with anything. I mean, when he ran for president statewide, he
had to drop out before he got humiliated in Florida by Trump.
But Nikki Haley even got more votes than him, and in fact, Nikki Haley got 121,000 votes yesterday in the Indiana primary.
21.7%.
Exactly.
On the ballot, but it's been a month and a half, 2 months.
Right, and that's what we're going to go ahead and take a break real quick about right now. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about that in more detail. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Thank you.